So today we're going to be looking at my Game Week 11 squad where I was forced into a 4-4-2 and only had 10 men playing. I'll be telling you what hit I've taken for this game week, and is Mo Salah the only captaincy option for this game week, and is it time to get rid of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and is Bamford the man to replace him? Let's get into it. So as I mentioned in the introduction, I was forced into a 4-4-2 formation and only had 10 men, and it's probably the best game week that I've had so far this season. So going through this, 78 points on the board, no Martinez, the game against Newcastle was called off. You see no Jack Grealish in there as well. Lamperty comes in for just a single point. So going through the back line, Cancelo 6, Robertson 6, and Reece James 5. So last week I had basically only got points from Reece James, 6 points. I got 2 from Robertson, nothing from Taylor or Cancelo because no one auto subbed on, and Lamperty was banned, and 1 point from Martinez. So having my back 3 players all basically get clean sheet points from my whole back 3 is fantastic. Going into my midfield, my one transfer last week, and I made it late on deadline day, something I never usually do. I took out Heung-min Son and I brought in Riyad Mahrez, especially after those Pep comments of, Mahrez is definitely going to play, he's on fire. I think he actually did have an excellent game. And he even did take a bonus point from the match, considering he didn't get a goal or an assist, just a clean sheet point and a bonus point. I think is impressive. It really does show. So actually, that's a 4 for Mahrez, not a 3. Bruno Fernandes starting on the bench, and of course he comes off, and he still manages to get an assist and some bonus as well, which is incredible considering, of course, he only played 45 minutes. 2 bonus, 1 assist within 45 minutes. Fantastic. Souček, I call him the weak link in my side. It feels a little bit fair. He's my enabler, because he enables other players to be available for this team. Well, how dare I, because he goes and gets goal and bonus. What a fantastic week finally for Souček. And obviously that pales in comparison to the main man himself, Kevin De Bruyne, 28 points. And again, same against Burnley and in this game week as well against Fulham. It just could have been more. We could have been looking at 35, 40 points basically, hitting posts and bars and missed chances again. It's just, it's still a fantastic score. I'm not going to obviously rue that, but just you look at some of the scores that he could have got last week and this week could have been absolutely incredible. Up front, Dominic Calvert-Lewin back on the score sheet as if it is ever in doubt. And Jamie Vardy again, 89th minute, we called it. He hates Sheffield United. He was definitely going to upset them. He scores in the last minute basically. He destroys the corner flag. He still gets booked and he still walks away with bonus and 8 points. Absolutely incredible. The man got me an assist as a captain, which was a little bit disappointing against Fulham, but he did get a goal against Sheffield United. So he's pretty much getting what I expected and what I wanted from Jamie Vardy. I would have liked more, but he's at least hitting sort of my minimum point target for him. So let's have a look into the transfers that I've made and look at the game week, how I'm lining up for game week 12. So in classic Rob WD style, we've got another hit going on this game week. We've got Patrick Bamford coming in with Mo Salah, and out goes Jamie Vardy and the 1 week man Riyad Mahrez. So going into game week 12, ranked at just outside the top 3 million, we've got Martinez back in goal, and he is away to Wolverhampton Wanderers. We've still got a back 3 going into game week 12 with Robertson, Cancelo and James. Robertson away to Fulham, Cancelo away to United, and James away to Everton. A full away back 3. Going into our 5-man midfield, we've got a captain Mo Salah away to Fulham, Bruno Fernandes against City at home, De Bruyne against United away, Jack Grealish away to Wolves, and Souček away to Leeds. And speaking of Leeds, new man Patrick Bamford at home to West Ham, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin at home to Chelsea. So that's the team going into game week 12, and the transfers made: Mo Salah in, Bamford in, and Jamie Vardy out, and Riyad Mahrez out. So at the start of the video I did mention, is it time to get rid of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and is Patrick Bamford the one to replace him? And I'm going to be arguing now that I think both of them have a shout at being in your team. Not one or the other, but both. I'm pretty sure at least one of these players are in your side. Let's start with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, for me personally, I've had him all season. I got him at 7 million, so there's a lot of value tied up in there. And I don't like the argument of don't sell this player because of team value. but I just don't see him letting up. He's scored 11 goals this season. A lot of people are eyeing up the fixtures, and defensively, Everton are very weak. That's fine, but I've got their striker, not their defender. Just like Bamford, Leeds concede a lot of chances and a lot of goals, but they still attack and they still get goals. And that's what Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Patrick Bamford have done so far this season. But before we get into Bamford, someone who I've constantly said I don't really believe in and I don't really fancy him, but I cannot ignore the stats I'll talk about later on. But first, let's just stick with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Chelsea up next. Yes, of course, that is a very difficult fixture. I'm not expecting, 2-3 goals from him. If he can nick one goal, that'd be fantastic. But if it's a blank, it's a blank. For me, he's a 7 million striker. And if he goes, say, 2 games without a goal, then I think that's fine for that value. Next up is Leicester. They conceded against Fulham. They lost against Fulham, conceded 2 goals. And they also let a goal in at Sheffield United, who usually can't even buy a goal. So let's not pretend that Leicester's defence is absolutely fantastic and solid as a rock, because it's not. Then we have Arsenal, who have just been so empty this season. They're all the way down, I think, in 15th at the minute. So let's, again, not pretend that Arsenal are a team that could maybe lock out and keep away goals from Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because I can see him score against Arsenal. Then we've got Sheffield United just after that, who are rock bottom of the table and still haven't won. So the rush to get Dominic Calvert-Lewin out to free up some funds, if you got him at, say, 7.8 million and you're going down to Patrick Bamford and you're getting about 1.8 million in your bank, what is that 1.8 million doing? Is that, that can't turn Son into Salah. That could maybe turn a Ziyech into a Son, but I just don't think that kind of money for the downgrade that you'll get from Dominic Calvert-Lewin is actually going to do that much. Anyway, let's have a look. He's the second top highest scoring striker in FPL so far this season. Again, he is under 8 million. He's 4th for XGI, expected goals involvement. So you've got Bruno, Kevin De Bruyne, then Timo Werner, who is 3rd, and then Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And also Timo Werner, side fact, is top for big chances. Now, I had Timo Werner from Game Week 1 to Game Week 9, and he is genuinely the most frustrating player I think I've ever owned on FPL or in FPL, because my god, he should genuinely get about 15 to 20 points every single game week, and the chances he misses, yes, he might get an assist every now and again, 3, 4, 5 points every game week, but my god, it is so frustrating to watch him play football. Honestly, he's like Bambi on ice. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 11 goals, 2nd for most big chances all season long. He also has the most shots inside the 6-yard box with 11 this entire season, which is, what you want to see from your striker, just goal hanging basically. And he's top actually for the whole season for non-penalty XG, which is expected goals. A lot of people have been saying about Patrick Bamford, being top of XG in the Premier League. He is, and non-penalty XG, he is over the last 4 game weeks, but of the whole season, it has been Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So why Patrick Bamford? I would have liked, I think, Callum Wilson. I could be going back to a 3-4-3 quite soon with Antonio, but I do feel these two, for the value and the bang for the buck, are the best in FPL at the moment. So Bamford, highest non-pen XG in the last 4 game weeks. He's the 4th highest top goal scorer. He's 6.1 million, so he's absolute bargain material down there. Leeds are an incredibly attacking side, so they won't often get low scoring games. If they're losing 2-0, they're going to try and get at least 2-3 goals back. In the next few game weeks, they've got West Ham, Newcastle, Manchester United, Burnley and West Brom, all games where Leeds and Patrick Bamford can score some goals. Last 4 game weeks, most shots inside of the box with 14. But let me just have a side warning with that. It sounds great, most shots inside the box, that's what you want for your striker. But McBurney is 2nd in that stat, and I don't think people are going to be rushing him in. 2nd for goal attempts in the last 4 game weeks, and 3rd most big chances for the whole season. Now, a lot of people will have their head turned in that lower price category to people like Callum Wilson, who I massively was. And in the next couple of game weeks, he's got West Brom, then Leeds, then Fulham. 2 prime fixtures, and even goals against Leeds are there for Newcastle. After that, it's a difficult run. Newcastle are a bit of a topsy-turvy team as well, but I do think Callum Wilson is a fantastic choice. Like I mentioned before, personal transfer plans, I could be doing Cancelo down and then Souček can go on the bench, and then I'll probably turn Brewster into Callum Wilson or Michail Antonio. That's going to be my personal plan. Now, I did call it a few weeks ago that I think 3-5-2 is the way to go. I still think 3-4-3 is very strong, but I think a lot of you guys will have seen most people crying out Kevin De Bruyne, Bruno Fernandes and Mo Salah. So you've got to get money somewhere. So I just feel that Bamford and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for the price that they are and the points that they're getting and the fixtures and the potential and what have you, I do genuinely think that these two are the best value strikers in the Premier League. Now, if you're going to not have Bruno or KDB or Mo Salah, then yeah, a Kane or a Vardy in that position is probably a better option. But I feel good going into every game week. If I've got Bamford and Dominic Calvert-Lewin as my two strikers, but that enables me to have Grealish, De Bruyne, Fernandes, Salah, Robertson, Cancelo, a pretty good 10 players, and Souček, who can get a goal on his day. We know he's always a threat at set pieces, and he has scored a couple of goals in the last couple of game weeks. I'd rather have that than throw in another premium like Harry Kane and just have to downgrade Robertson, downgrade James, downgrade Cancelo, downgrade Grealish, just things like that. So that's my argument for, it's not get rid of Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Bamford. I think it's get rid of whoever your other striker is, or a midfielder who isn't one of the big three, and have that as your value pick. So at the start of the video, I also said, is Mo Salah the main captaincy option? This could possibly be the easiest shout of a captaincy this season so far. Now, and I don't mean it as a disrespect to Fulham, but Liverpool are the champions. Fulham are fighting relegation. You've got the Manchester United and Bruno Fernandes, who is way up there. Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes are a step ahead in the last few game weeks. Of course, fantastic assets, great players, but they're against each other. It is a very, very difficult game. Just like in the game week where Liverpool plays against Manchester City, Bruno Fernandes is probably going to be a good option there. I just cannot look past it. So who are the other captaincy options for this week? So are you going to go for a Leeds or West Ham player? No. Are you going to go for a Wolves or Villa player? Are you going to go for Grealish against Wolves? No. I think you're still just looking at Liverpool for this one. Newcastle, West Brom, there's no one to ever captain in that game. United against City. Now, you could captain Kevin De Bruyne. At Old Trafford is not going to be easy either, but Manchester United have just been knocked out of European football. Is that going to rile them up and make them fight their rivals, or is it going to make them feel a little bit lack of confidence? Kevin De Bruyne, you can captain him just like Mo Salah and Bruno Fernandes. You can captain these players in every game, but we're trying to play the odds. Would I captain City away at Manchester United in a derby game, in the Manchester derby? Vice captain material for me. Same goes for Bruno Fernandes. Man City are a top two side. It's going to be Liverpool and Man City that's going to win it, in my opinion, the whole Premier League. Bruno Fernandes can get points against anyone. I don't really believe in the myth that he only mainly scores his points away from home. I don't think that's correct. But Man City are a fantastic side. I wouldn't like to bet against them, and I don't think I'd like to captain a player who is against Manchester City. You've got Everton against Chelsea. Again, the thing with Chelsea, they spread the goals around, they spread the assists around. Now Ziyech is out. Who are you going to captain? Are you going to go for Abraham or Giroud? You're not going to captain them. Are you going to captain Timo Werner? He's a massive disappointment at times. Are you going to captain Dominic Calvert-Lewin against arguably the best defence in the league so far this season? Probably not. Southampton, Sheffield United could have a punt on Danny Ings if you brought him in early, but most of us don't have him right now because, of course, he's just getting over his injury. He's back. He scored a goal, but I wouldn't be sticking the captain's armband on him this soon. Which brings us probably to our second best option this game week. Crystal Palace against Spurs. It's difficult to ignore Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. Both of them getting returns in the London derby. They don't look like slowing up. Spurs are looking solid. I did say before that I can't see them smashing a ton of goals in all of the games. But if they win a game 2-0, there's such a high percentage that Harry Kane or Heung-min Son are going to have been involved in at least one of those goals. So for me, the best captaincy option so far for this game week, Mo Salah is streets ahead. But actually, when I think about it more, just a little bit behind, I would say Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. If I had both of those Spurs players, I always say on the channel that I would prefer to captain the midfielder over the striker. And that's just because they get extra points for clean sheets and extra points for goals. both of them are really good options. I would probably go for Heung-min Son. I do massively regret not keeping hold of Heung-min Son, not just because he got points last week, but Crystal Palace, he would have been my vice captain if he was still in this side. So I do feel as though Salah is out there, but if you, and I'm not going to say a differential captain because Mo Salah is still not massively owned. He's still not going to go over his expected ownership, I don't think. He's 32.4% owned, so he's not in those ridiculously high, almost 60% area that Heung-min Son is. So I'm not going to say even captain Heung-min Son or Harry Kane for a differential because Salah in this case is a differential, and I do think he is by far and large the best captaincy option. Arsenal against Burnley, you're not going to captain anyone in that one. Leicester against Brighton, you could argue that Jamie Vardy, he's got an assist, he's got a goal in the last 2 games. Brighton are up there in terms of how many chances they concede, but they always just have a few mistakes in them, and they don't often keep clean sheets. So I do see a goal in there for Jamie Vardy, but I just see 2 or 3 attacking returns come from Mo Salah. So if I had to put an order on it, it would be Mo Salah number 1, Heung-min Son number 2, Harry Kane number 3, and Jamie Vardy number 4, and then probably KDB number 5, Bruno number 6. They would be probably my 6 top captaincy choices for this game week. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, maybe leave a like and subscribe if you're new. I will be streaming, as always, on Friday, 12 o'clock UK time in the afternoon. If you want to let me know below who your captain is for this game week, I'd be very surprised if it's not Mo Salah, but let me know anyway in the comments below who you think is the best game week 12 captaincy option and who are your transfers in for this game week. I think a lot of people will do the same as me, which will be Bamford in for Kane or Vardy, and of course Mo Salah in for maybe Mahrez or Son even. So let me know in the comments below what are your transfers and who's your best captaincy option, and I hope to see you Friday at lunchtime for the stream. As always, have a good one.